Be excellent to each other and party on. We're back for another Legacy League, and today we're playing Bant, Uro, Titan of Nature's Wrath, and we have Malevolent Rumble. This is a new card, Modern Horizons 3. When you cast it, you look at the top 4 cards of your library. You can choose a permanent from among them and then put it into your hand, not a draw effect. And then you create a 0/1 Eldrazi spawn token that you can sacrifice to add mana later. So that is a chumper. If you're up against an aggro deck, it basically pays half of itself back, this Malevolent Rumble, because it costs 1 colorless, 1 green. So you get the colorless mana back. Pretty good. And then when you're putting things into your graveyard, you put an Uro into the graveyard. Boom. Uro's ready to party. You just escape him and he's there. Life from the Loam. Boom. You can potentially regrow a whole bunch of lands. You can potentially get Wastelock going if your opponent doesn't have any basics out. Just waste them multiple times. Pretty cool. And then we have a lot of other permanents that you can grab, such as 4 Endurance. We're all the way up to 4 because I think this card is maybe better than it's ever been. It's very good against turn 0 combo decks like Oopsal spells, like Reanimator. It's just another force effect, and we have enough green cards that you're likely to be able to pitch cast them. We've got 13 green. So the other win con in the deck is just Tamiyo flipping and ultimating, and most opponents will scoop to that. That Planeswalker is very powerful, but we also have some other Planeswalkers. We have Teferi, Time Raveler, bounce stuff back to their hand, lock out their instance. Narset, lock out the draws. Very good, not just against cantrip decks, but against One Ring decks. I've got 2 of these in here. And then we have the best interaction in the format in Force of Will and Spell Pierce for the stack, and 4 plows and 2 prismatic endings for permanents. So our goal is just to have the game go on a little bit longer. Uro is a great inevitable endgame engine against any non-white deck. Against white decks, it can be a little bit of a problem. Against decks that have Karakas or Maze of Ith, it can take a while, but we're hoping that Endurance can pick up some of the slack and help beat down our opponents before they get to their end state that they want, which against like 12 post or something like that is just having a lot of lands on the table. Against something like Reanimator is just being able to eventually reanimate one of their fatties. We're going to hope to stop that with all our interaction. In the sideboard, we have 2 Wrath of the Skies. These are great against really any artifact deck, any Urza Saga deck. We'll be bringing those in. They're also good against like weenie decks. Like if you run into the Ocelot Pride Tempo deck, this card just solos it. If you run into Blue-Black Tempo, this can be a really good card because it can wipe away not only Orc army, but also all their clues from their Tamiyo. We have the 4 Force Negations. Don't leave home without them. I know I'm the only person that plays all 4, but I think it's really good against Omnitell right now and against a lot of the random Storm decks you're like to encounter. We have the 3 Hydroblasts for red strategies. We are a deck that plays all basics, so Blood Moon is not that scary for us. It can lock us off of bringing back Uro and casting Endurance, but it is nice to have these Hydroblasts as alternate answers to Blood Moon. We've got Force of Vigor, which we have enough green cards to support. This card is insane against Urza Saga decks. We have 3 Carpets. We can really use the mana with Uro in our deck and all these 3 drops. And we have Lavinia and Damping Sphere should we go up against Karnforge style decks or combo decks that have just a lot of 0 drops in them. Lavinia is pretty awesome against those. This also stops Cephalid Breakfast from being able to win through the graveyard because they can't cast spells that cost 0 mana or they get countered. Damping Sphere, very good, just random card against Karnforge and against 12 post decks, which if you watched the previous video, I did. It was a very similar deck, except instead of Malevolent Rumble, I was playing Planar Genesis, which I don't think is nearly as good as Malevolent Rumble. So we're going to hope to get in, crush a lot of fair decks, crush a lot of combo decks, and have a lot of fun. See you in round 1. Round 1, we're up against a likely fair gamer. They play a lot of like Ocelot Pride type decks, Painter, stuff like that. I consider Painter to basically be a fair deck. It just happens to have a combo finish. I love this hand. This is very flexible. Let's keep it. So what we can do here, we aren't going to be able to get white if we do this, but I am going to probably Surveil and just get my land. I like doing that rather than casting Ponder just in case we need to force something through a daze. I will force an Ocelot Pride if that's what they have here. Guide of Souls. I mean, like, it may seem ridiculous to force this, but like, this is a really powerful card that we just have to kind of deal with, and it is kind of annoying. And I don't really care about like casting these cantrips at this point. So yeah, if you take issue with me doing this, leave a comment with a timestamp. But like anything we can do to slow them down and just make the game last a little bit longer, I'm in favor of it. So they are they don't have days. I'm not sure if they're playing just straight Boros, but I think the correct card to pitch here is probably the Ponder, because we have our mana here. Yeah. And we could just draw like a Plow or a Prismatic Ending or something and feel like, well, that was dumb. Why'd you do that? But we are not going to have white mana for a while anyway, unless we find it. I'm going to bin the Rumble. I don't think we need to Rumble twice. What I'm hoping to do is Rumble into a land, fill up the graveyard. We can actually get white mana now. I think I'll do that, just in case we need white next turn. I am kind of worried they may be playing like a Blood Moon strategy, but unless they're on Stompy mana, yeah. So we filled our graveyard. We do have a basic now. Next turn, we can definitely Endurance, and that can probably hold back some of the attackers. It's worth noting Guided Souls does make itself a 3/4. Okay, Amped Raptor is fine. This card does have First Strike, but it does die to... Okay, what did they reveal? They got the Pride. This is pretty good. This is pretty good. They don't have a way to kill it right now on board, but they are going to. Okay, Narset, I don't think is the right card to be casting right now. I think what we do is we just chill. We see if they attack with the Pride Mage. If they can flip it, it's pretty bad for us. But I do want to get on board with some sort of interaction here. They may have a Plow for it. Wasteland. They're probably going to waste our white, which is okay. I just want to make sure they attack with a Johnny. Okay, let's read this. We have to read this. This is pretty creepy looking. Arabella, Abandoned Doll. When Arabella attacks, it deals X damage to each opponent and you gain X life, where X is the number of creatures you control with power 2 or less. Okay, so very strong weenie tech here. She's not going to be able to attack yet, so that's fine. I'll let her in. I think they're probably going to waste here. They are going to combat. All right, and it looks like we're going to be able to kill a Johnny here, which is pretty good because we definitely don't want him flipping over and becoming a Planeswalker. So I will tuck their graveyard just in case they use it for anything. So we'll just block here. I'm going to take the rest. I'm going to keep this around as a chump for later. So they do have a lot of creatures that can do damage here. They opt not to waste me at all, which is interesting. I don't really want to play this island if I don't have to. I think I'm going to go ahead and just start by brainstorming. I would love to find like a Prismatic Ending for this or a Plow. And they're down to 4 cards, which is still quite a few. Not happy with this. We do have Tamiyo, whom we can flip next turn. I think that's probably stronger. I think I'm just going to keep back my Endurance just to it's your opponent and you gain X life for X. So they can do that, but then I can block her. So I'm not sure if they're going to want to do that. It's okay to hold up the Force here just in case they have like Ocelot Pride. I don't get the feeling Narset's going to do much against their deck at all. So I'll put these 2 back. Now I'm going to go ahead and I would like to be able to hold up Brainstorm to defend Tamiyo, but I think I'm just going to play. I think it's more likely that they're going after Endurance than Tamiyo. I'm going to go ahead and just Ponder here. We'll shuffle this. I don't want those other cards. This isn't, well, we could take the Flooded Strand. And then I guess we do have technically protected Tamiyo up. Yeah, I'll do that. So we'll take the Strand, play it out, play Tamiyo out, and we'll pass. And now if they waste us off white, we can just get another white. So really, again, all we're trying to do is live for a while. If we can flip Tommy, I'd like to get a clue first. Static Prison. Okay, excellent. Okay, you get 2 energy cards or any energy counters. And we can't target until it comes into play. I think it's likely going to take our Endurance here. If we force this, will they still be able to attack? They may not be able to sustain the energy to keep it out of play for long. I think I'm just going to let it resolve. Because I do want to be able... they are going after that. That's fine. So we're not going to be able... We can block and deter some of the violence here. Another Ajani. I do probably have to force this. Yeah, I think it'd be a mistake not to force this. It's just too strong. They get a Cat Warrior. They also get like... Yeah, and now we don't have the ability to flip Tommy, unfortunately. We're really like hoping to draw an Uro now. So we're going to take some damage here from the doll, but we can block one of these. They have 2 energy. If this wears off before they can find another Amp Raptor or another Static Prison, then we do get our endurance back. So we take 3 here, and I guess I'll just block the Amp Raptor. Do I want to block any of these other ones? I don't think I'm quite to that point yet. There's the second Wasteland. Okay. So I'm going to wait until my upkeep. Wait, did we fetch last turn? I think we did fetch. I just want to confirm because it would be really dumb for me to fetch for no reason. We pondered. We played the Flooded Strand. Okay, so we have bad cards on top of our deck. I am going to go ahead and fetch. I think I'm going to get the Savannah just to make it harder for them to waste me off a particular color. Okay, that's not good. That is very, very bad. All right, let's go ahead and do this. I'm going to go ahead and flip if I can. We'll see what we get. Rumble. Rumble doesn't do it. We can take. We're going to die to Arabella, I believe. What could it Rumble flip? It would give us double blockers. Yeah, I guess we just Arabella here, or we do Rumble here. If we put Uro in our yard, that might be enough. Okay, Uro goes to the yard. I think I'm actually going to take one of the Uros too, just so I can potentially cast him later and gain more life. So there's not really any benefit to playing this out. So we block here. We block here. We take 3. We're at 2. They waste us off Uro. We fetch. We're at 1. We play out the Uro. I think we're dead, but I'm gonna just let them go and do the thing. So this Static Prison essentially was a 1-mana Oblivion Ring. Very strong. Okay, so we dropped to 2. Oh, we're going to drop to 1 because of this too, because she's going to get through. So I don't think there's any hope for us here, unless they just like completely neglect to waste us, which they absolutely should. I'm going to concede to Wasteland activation. Yeah, they know it. Okay. Yeah, I mean, we could have technically drawn a land and then Urowed through and, but I don't think there was a lot of hope there. Okay, so this is a tough matchup, but this is where Wrath of the Skies really shines. I even mentioned this in the deck tech, that this was the type of deck that was on my radar because I've been playing against it a few times. So Hydroblast come in for sure. I think that's it. Cards that come out. Spell Pierce is pretty bad here. Narset does nothing other than die to like Pyroblast. So we could bring in... I don't want to bring in Force of Vigor. Damping Sphere, no. I don't want to bring that in. I don't think Lavinia is any good. Maybe we do leave a Pierce in. Yeah, I think that's all we do. Let's go. So Wrath would have cleaned up pretty nicely. We would have gotten our endurance back. We would have, pretty much everything in the deck is low value. This is great. Low mana value. This is a great hand. This is basically just like a quick Uro, and that's what we want. So I'm not going to play on basics. I'm going to go fetch Surveil. That's scary. I'm going to Surveil. We're going to try to find a Plow here to deal with that, or a Prismatic Ending. Tommy does block, but she doesn't stop the Ocelot Pride from doing crazy stuff. We could put her out as a blocker. I think it's fine to bin her and dig specifically to removal. This isn't like a great matchup for Tamiyo. This is not legendary, unfortunately. They do have legendary creatures like a Johnny in their deck. Not really the kind you want to bounce back to hand. I'm just going to play this out, and we're going to take a hit, and they're going to get a... Yeah, this is going to be rough. Hopefully they don't have Wasteland. Okay, Marsh Flats. That means I will be able to get an Uro in, and then I can build up my mana base. Okay, so they... Post-combat, they're going to be able to get a token. They're fetching. Hopefully they don't have black in their deck. Black is even scarier because, Voice of Victory. This is a scary card. This helps them get City's Blessing too. So they have it's 2 more. 2 red. So they get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And then potentially 8. And then at the end of the turn, 9. So yeah, they could get the City's Blessing as early as next turn, which is absolutely terrifying. If they get the City's Blessing, they start getting lots of cat tokens every turn cycle. Unfortunately, I can't ambush because of this. I'm just going to go ahead and... Wait, this isn't legendary, is it? No. I think we just have to live in the world where they're going to have a bunch of those and hope that we find... I'll get a Savannah here. And then we're going to Uro, and we're going to get our 3rd land out. Or our 4th land, rather. Okay. We could play the Uro and just bounce it back to hand. I don't think that really helps us. I think we just play this out. Well, if they do have a Johnny, it does put permanence into play. I think it's fine to do that. But I am going to let this die. And then next turn, we don't actually have Uro coming back currently. We could force pitch something, but we can't actually do anything. Never mind, because this force is pretty bad right now. Okay, we're going to take it. Yep, they do a lot of damage here. 5. I've been to Tamiyo, but she's actually pretty decent against this deck. Okay, see, this is what I was talking about. Like, they're going to get the token, and then what I need to do is before the end step, I need to bounce this so they don't get the City's Blessing. Yeah, it sucks to have to do this, but I think it's necessary. They may still get City's Blessing. Onslaught Pride. Okay, so they get a token, but those, if they stack correctly, yeah, they got it. We're dead. Like, I mean, we could draw exactly. Yeah, it's really just drawing Wrath of the Skies that gets us out of this right now, because they've got so much stuff on board. And I want to point out, like, I couldn't force because of the Voice of Victory. Okay, so it's actually like so bleak that I think we have to Uro. Let's see. We can't bring Uro back from Yard. So we're taking 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, because they'll get 2 of these. And these don't go away at the end of the turn. Yeah, they may get even more because they attack and these immediately start attacking. When you get 1 token, I think you get a second one. Yeah. I'm just trying to think. Like, so one thing that saves us for like a turn cycle would be getting Wrath of the Skies. And we could hit enough of the construct, like enough of the tokens that we wouldn't die next turn. I think we have to do that. But we wouldn't be able to put enough power behind it, so we'd need to find a second one. The other option is we Rumble. What could we find? There's no way we're going to get Tamiyo and Flipper in time. So yeah, I think I'm just going to go ahead and do this. And if we get Wrath, then we can talk Rumble. So we gain life. I mean, technically we're not like dead. I don't think if we survive a swing and then we have a big Wrath, that could be good. I don't think we're going to survive a swing. I'm going to go ahead and play this just to get deeper into my deck. I'll play that out too. Okay. Can you do 20 damage this turn? If you can't, then I might be able to find a Wrath and claw out of this. But my instinct is they can probably do 20. 1 ring. Terrifying. We did take out our Narsets too. Okay. So we're taking how much? 13? Okay, that's not the end of the world. But keep in mind, they just dramatically increased the size of their army over there. I think we can just clear the top of our deck with Malevolent Rumble. We need to maximize looks at Wrath. So I'm going to get this. Unfortunately, Malevolent Rumble cannot find Wrath. We can bring Uro back. Green, green, blue, blue. If this brings out the Wrath, then if this brings out the Wrath, then we do actually have the mana to like clear, I think, almost everything except the Voice. Let's see if that gets there. Nope. Good games. Yeah, and this is not going to stop anything, really. So, all right. Tough matchup. See you in round 2. Round 2, we're up against Phantom Man, who is a show and tell enthusiast. They play a lot of vintage. They don't play a lot of legacy. It's possible that Pierce could get us there. This hand's fine. It doesn't have like dead cards like Plow in it, so I'm kind of inclined to keep it. I may regret it though. They've already mulled. I'm going to mull. They might be on a turn 0 deck. This hand is worse. It has Uro. It has Loam Lock. Maybe Loam Lock gets us there. Put this back. Because we want blue cards for force. Yeah, this is probably the least exciting card. So what we can do is we can surveil and then hopefully waste them. And okay, we're not going to be wasting that. Okay, they're probably on Omnitell. But usually Omnitell and Show and Tell, like both of them, they're like critical turn 3 decks. Okay, this is a good card to rip. So I think the cautious thing to do is just to surveil and not play Tamiyo first. Tamiyo is like a blue card we can pitch to force if we need to. Okay, there's something we can counter. All right, stock up is fine. I'm not going to interact with that. I'm just going to surveil. Then I'm going to plan to waste that city. That goes in the yard for sure. That's one of the perks of being able to surveil things into your yard. Sometimes you surveil an arrow in there. So options. One, we could just waste and then we could drop a Tamiyo and hope they don't go for it. They know we're on blue. Cut them off some land. I think I like doing that. We are going off of, like, if they just jam Ancient Tomb and go for it, that's death for us. All right, that's good. That City of Traders may have been important to them. If they find another card, I think I am going to probably loam. Because they're like brainstorm locked. Come on, non-basic. Stick the non-basic. All right, never mind. They're on show and tell. Sneak attack, rather. So that's good to know. Okay, we drew a force, which is great. I'm going to come in for a hug, and then I'm going to brainstorm. Just go ahead and flip her. They're not going to have Blue Blast main deck. We're looking for a fetch. We don't need this plains. These endurances are pretty terrible against their deck. Let's see. We can put this back. I don't want it. And at least keep the endurance that does something. And then I'll play out the Tundra, and I'll plan to just loam those cards away. Wait, loam's in my freaking hand. I can't dredge. Oh, I screwed up. Yeah, I think that was a mistake. But I will draw it, I think. I think I stacked it to where I'm going to draw the plains first. It's fine. If we draw the plains first, if that was indeed how I stacked my library, I think I probably Narset before I start Urwing. That'll give them a second must answer permanent before they can really go crazy. All right, Mistvale Village, very scary. But it does take a lot of mana to use this. But if they Ancient Tomb, they could do 1, 2, tap, add. The next spell is, yeah, they could kill us if they have Ancient Tomb. I think it's good to just go ahead and loam here. I don't know. Narset's so good, though. What if they have Spell Pierce? I did screw up the way I stacked. I am going to have to loam here, unfortunately. So I don't have a choice in the matter. But I'll take these 2 lands. They brainstorm, that's fine. Yeah, we're going to go ahead and waste them, and then I'll probably just loam. If you're forcing, I'm forcing. I don't like using my force this way, but I think it's correct. We're going to waste this and then keep them off being able to stop us. And if they... Okay, we can plus here. I'm going to regrow the force just in case. I know it's like kind of weak, like because we could keep plussing. Yeah, they scooped. All right. Yeah, loam lock, even against the basic land deck. Like they probably got, I don't know, 3 or 4 basics in their deck. Maybe just 2. So Hydroblast comes in. Force Negation comes in. Lavinia comes in. If they're on Omniscience. Damping Sphere I don't think is good enough. Damping Sphere is good against Omnitell, but they're like on show and tell, and I'd be surprised they're playing Omniscience. Let's pull up a contemporary. So what I like to do is I go to MTG Goldfish or MTG Top 8. I use both of those sites. And then what we do is we go in here and we look for Sneak Attack, which is bundled in here with this. So what I'll do is I'll select this, and then I'm just going to check the ones that definitely have Volk, because all the Sneak and Show decks will have Volk. And then we can kind of get an aggregate look at how they're rolling. And we can see that Mistrized Village is usually a 1 of, sometimes a 2 of. They are... Position Drifter kind of sucks in my experience. Like, it's rare that anybody... I don't know if anybody's ever got me with that. Okay, and Stock Up's One Ring, usually not played. Yeah, in terms of Omniscience, it's in some of these decks... Well, they're usually playing like 2 of... I think it's correct to bring in Lavinia and this. We'll take out our plows completely. I'm tempted to take out Prismatic Ending. Let's see. How many defense grids do they usually play? Usually 2. I think we take out the Prismatic Endings and we bring in Force of Vigor, because that can hit Defense Grid and Disruptor Flute and Sneak Attack itself. I want to pull out these Endurances. I don't think they're very good. Rumble is pretty good. Maybe we don't bring in the Force of Vigor. Maybe we just completely cut white, essentially, like aside from Teferi and Lavinia. So I can cut the plains. Let's see, what are the odds that they're playing Blood Moon? It's uncommon. They often will play Magus of the Moon here. They may be playing that. I think I'll just keep my basics in and I'll just cut the Savannah. And that is, we still have 2 endurance. We've got enough green cards. I want to keep low. I'm just going to do it like this. I like Force of Vigor, don't get me wrong, but it's much better against decks that are on like Urza Saga and stuff. This is a good hand. I'm going to keep this. And I just definitively, like decisively kept like within a second of getting past priority to keep. I am going to go ahead and just float the Tamiyo out there. I'd much rather than Pyroblast a Tamiyo than blast a Force. And then next turn we can attack, create a clue, potentially Brainstorm if she's around. And hopefully not get Brainstorm locked, but it's less of an issue when we have 2 Forces in our hand. Like it's hard for them to win immediately when we have a hand like this. Blood Moon. Yeah, I mean I have to force this unfortunately. I'm gonna pitch an Uro. Okay, that worked. Yep, and we would have definitely Hydroblasted had we had the luxury of doing that, but we didn't. So I'm going to go ahead and come in for a hug here, create a clue. I am going to Brainstorm first. It'll suck if I whiff. Note that I didn't bring in the carpets in. Okay, good. Okay, so I'm going to put these 2 back. I'll play out a land. Now we have Hydroblast up. We can go get Basic Island if we want to. We can also Hydroblast or Pyroblast on Tommy, which is probably worthwhile. And then we can just ponder a couple times if we need to dig for specific things like land. It's the main thing I want to dig for here. Show and tell. So I'm going to force this, and they're representing Pyroblast. I want Teferi. Teferi's so good against them. Yeah, I'm going to do this. All right, so let's go get the... they could have a second Blood Moon. It's less likely. I think we do get the Trop, and we Dare to Dream here. Do they have another Force? Sometimes they do. Okay, we stop that. That's great. All right. Hopefully we draw a land here. I'll probably regrow a Force if I don't. Oh, that's perfect. I'm just going to bounce targeting nothing to draw deeper into my deck. They'll know we're shields down. Okay, and then I'm going to... So I think here's the trick. I'm going to go ahead and minus, and I'm going to get Force, and then they're going to have to kind of assume that I drew a blue card there. Because why would I do it if I didn't draw a blue card? And that may keep them off our back for a turn. Next turn we have Clue Crack. I like to cash in my Tamiyo in Pyroblast matchups. They play a Volk. Sneak attack. I can't do anything about this. They have a win con. So my bluff did not work. This is Emrakul probably. If it's a Traxa, we might be able to fight through it. It's definitely not good. It's worth noting that I could have just plussed and done nothing there. But I think we did want to get the Force back and maybe make them at least pause. Let's see. They got 2 more Traxas. I think we're done. Let's move on. Okay. So we saw lots of Blood Moon effects, or 1 Blood Moon effect. Surgical is in their deck for our Uro, which is fine. We just don't want to board all of our endurances out. Lavinia is also a win con, technically. Yeah, I think we just run it back. I like this build a lot in this matchup. So Carpet continues to be a stinker if they have Ancient Tomb and Mountain and stuff like that. And I think they may be playing like that. This hand is great. So I'll just Surveil. Unfortunately, we do only have 2 Forces unless we find a blue card. Uro might... had I not played the Teferi, I would have drawn a card replaced. I could have just held Teferi and returned the Force and not drawn a random card. We don't know that would have worked, but I suspect it would have. So I do think I kind of punted there. I got greedy there. I didn't think about it until afterward. Oh, I can just regrow a Force. But, I should have thought of that. Okay. So this is a keep. We do want... this does bounce their stuff. It's pretty good. So we can develop our land. We can hide the Wasteland, but I'd like to stick the Teferi here just to ensure that they can't interact with our stuff, and we can just 1 for 1, or really we're still 2 for 1-ing, but at least we don't have to worry about them responding. So now we can pay for Spell Pierce. I don't think they're playing Spell Pierce. They may be playing Flusterstorm, but it's fine. Always happy to see an in-step Brainstorm. Means an imperfect Brainstorm. All right, they're passing. I think there's a big risk in putting Teferi on the table here. I think there's less of a risk in just wasting. They're going to float. That is totally fine. And now I can defend Tommy. if I need to. Blue. Tommy. I'd much rather play Tommy than Teferi because she generates card advantage at a more rapid rate. Teferi is like a 1 card every 4 turns. I don't think we stop this. I generally don't go after stock up because it can whiff. Phantom Man. I could just imagine this Grixis dude. I can't remember what his name. Tezzeret. Like cracking open a can of Fanta. Just be like, yeah. Surveilling all the different people that he's completed. They discard a card. That's good. Whenever your opponent's going to discard because they've been greedy with their cantrips. Oh, Emrakul. Yeah. I think if we do draw a land, I do jam Teferi. They're tapped out. There's no way I'm plussing Teferi, but I will jam him. So we grab another trop here. We'll go to attack. I always like to attack before I cast spells. Just in case I have to like force a negation. Something like I don't know what they could possibly have here that would be force negationable. Technically, if we hold up force negation, we do get an additional force effect. But I like just getting Teferi on the table right now so we can crack clues later. And they're probably going to pyro Teferi rather than Tamiyo. Either one, it's a 2-for-1 at this point because they'll both have generated value by then. This is a pretty much must force card if they have a force of will. Okay, and they don't have it. I'm going to minus target nothing, draw a card. We want to find like an Uro or an Endurance so we can start closing the game. Brainstorm's perfectly fine. Brainstorm does allow us to flip Tommy next turn. This is kind of how you want to be like turtling up against these decks. It's not our victory is far from assured, but we're in a good position. They could like veil. I don't think they're playing. Yeah, that's fine. Again, they're going to have to discard. Unless they, I don't know what they could find that wouldn't require them to discard. So this is kind of like an expensive brainstorm. There's the land. Fetching. This is a pyro for Teferi. I'll probably just stop it. It's fine. Yeah, and again, they're going to have to discard whatever they find here. Yeah, I like not actually forcing any of their cards during their turn because that does turn on their cards. And well, it doesn't turn on force or anything, but it does potentially give them a way to not have to discard. Sneak attack. All right, this is good. Definitely keen to play that out. I'm going to plus here. I'm going to attack. I can safely flip her and plus her. I think that's fine to do. We have more than enough clues we can crack later. Wasteland's good. Endurance is something we could put in on the end step to start pressuring them. I think actually I want to just go ahead and jam Narset here though. That does require shuffling away this Wasteland. But I think Narset's going to be so backbreaking hopefully. We'll still have 2 forces up. I'm going to get the basic island just in case. Because I do have Hydroblast in my deck. Now we got the freaking Dream Team here. We will take this Hydro. I think that's correct. At this point, pass. They see the Hydro. This is a window to go before Hydro's online too. I mean, this is what your nightmare is when you're a combo deck. Is just your opponent having all this, stuff shutting off all your abilities. I would have loved to take that Wasteland and wasted their Volk, but I'm not unhappy with how things turned out. If they put Sneak Attack on this deck, we have to respect the fact that we may not get a turn. Interesting they went for that one. I'm fine with that one actually. That's like the least important of these. I think Teferi is by far the most important. I'm surprised they didn't go for it. Narset is a guarantee look, which is really powerful. They can't do anything in our upkeep because of Teferi. I don't know why they're waiting here. Okay. So I think I'm going to go ahead and just do the thing that I was definitely going to do anyway, which is Teferi, getting my Planeswalkers mixed up. Let's go ahead and go minus here. Pierce, sure. I do want to ponder and try to find a Wasteland. I'll take an Uro just because it moves forward the game. I'll take an Endurance. Loam is quite good. Yeah, I'm going to Loam and then I can waste. They are getting seriously squeezed here. They can't do anything about this. We'll start wasting. What do we want to waste first? I think we waste the mana because we have Spell Pierce now. I'll just discard a land. Okay, yeah. They finally tapped out. We're 1-1. See you in round 3. Round 3, we're up against a likely Leyline Helm player like Mono Black Control. I think this hand's great against that. We can win without our graveyard thanks to Endurance. So I will likely be just pitching Uro because he's unlikely to do anything and come back. I'll keep this. I am going to probably just lead with the Hedge Maze. If they him or do something like that, I can force it. Plow is the most important card in my hand because it shuts off, Bowmasters, opposition agent, stuff like that. All right, they didn't start with a Chalice or with a Leyline in play. That's good. I don't want this. I'm just going to put it in the graveyard. I don't think it's going to come up against them. They're a mono black deck. If they're not on that, then I've still got a pretty flexible hand. But yeah, that looks like mono black. So now that they don't have Leyline out, I do want to use Uro because it's very hard for them to get rid of Uro. So I'll pitch the Pierce instead. They're going to probably go all in on like some scary creature. Unfortunately, Therapy always names Force. Nothing I can do about it. I'm not going to force. If they name Brainstorm, that would be such a relief, but like it's rare that people name anything other than Force. They do name Force. And now they have 2 mana. Therapy is like just a really annoying card because it's a bad card, but if you're skilled, it can be a good card, but it can also just be like a bad card that randomly screws you. Like they Therapy and you have 2 Forces in your hand and you don't have any other blue cards. Or I've gotten Therapied where I had like 2 Bowmasters in hand and stuff like that. Unmasking themselves, okay, great. So we're playing against freaking Reanimator. This is not fun. I do have the Plow, and I will be plowing this. They get a card. I have to discard a card. I will discard Uro because he comes back from the grave. What's your other black card? Or your other black mana? Is it going to do anything? They could flash back and just name Plow so that they guarantee, because I'm definitely going to plow this. I think it's actually correct to flash back and name Plow. Then they have the Archon in their yard for subsequent things. Things being reanimation effects. Okay, I think they made a mistake there. And I will take it. Any mistake my opponent makes when they're playing a very powerful deck like Reanimator, I will let them make that mistake. Now I have Pierce up. We should be kind of in the clear. Okay, land. All right, land pass. Love it. All right, we're getting closer to bringing back Uro. I'm just going to play this out. I'll pass. Generally, these kind of mono-black Reanimator decks do not play Wasteland. So I feel like we're going to be able to get Uro back. Oh, no, I should have brainstormed. I didn't think about that. We don't have enough cards. So we're going to have to wait an extra turn here to get Uro back, which is a punt. But we are going to be able to get him back maybe more safely here now because we can play our 5th land. It is possible my opponent has Orcish Bowmasters in hand, but I'm not going to wait and find out. I'm just going to go ahead and do this. If they have the Bowmasters, they have it. Okay, they didn't have it. So I'll put back these 2 lands. I don't want these. Now I'm just going to go ahead and go to my main phase. I'll shuffle. Okay, we'll get a Savannah, I guess. Okay, and we drew another Plow, which is great. And now we're going to go green, green, blue, blue. Fun fact that I probably said at some point before. The song from Super Mario Land by Koji Kondo is actually plagiarized from a Japanese song that goes green, green, da, 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 da. But it was like the 90s and intellectual property was less, I guess, intense. So, yeah. Like the melody's almost identical. If you just Google green, green Japanese song, you should be able to find it. I'm not going to play it on the channel for obvious reasons. That felt good. This deck is really resilient. Like having Plow in your deck is a huge hedge against just degenerate Reanimator starts. So I do like to bring in the Forces here, and I think that's it. I don't bring in Lavinia here. Cards that are not good, Life from the Loam and Wasteland. We did not see any wastable lands. We did decrease our lands, but they're not going to be wasting us. The only other card that could come out or swap in, Narset can stop. Oh, yeah, I'm going to take out the Prismatic Endings. These are not good. And then we can bring one of these back in, I guess. Yeah, and even if they bring in like some, Douthies and stuff like that, like as some sort of sideboard juke, I still think it's fine to just have more stuff. I don't want to, like our deck is extremely mana intensive. This is a keep. This is definitely a keep. This can be shredded. I mean, we can still lose, but this does make it hard for them to combo us. They mulled a 6. So if they therapy, we will let the first therapy resolve because they're going to name Force of Will. But they are going to, see double Force Negation, and then they can just therapy again. I assume if they're playing therapy, they're probably playing some sort of creature like Bowmaster, Witherbloom, Apprentice, something like that. They mulled a 5. All right. That sees me? Yeah, that's fine. Okay. They took the Brainstorm. So we're just going to surveil here. I think it's unlikely that they have Oppo Agent. If they do, I guess I'll force it. I don't want to... I guess I could fetch now. I'm not going to be using this mana for anything. Yeah, I'll just do it just in case they have Dark Ritual Oppo Agent. I think it's extremely unlikely. This may seem like a bad play, but, I'm just going to play to that contingency. That is a good card that I want to keep on top just in case. I could probably graveyard it. Yeah. And this Wasteland would be like a something else, like a Prismatic Ending or something like that. Okay, so now we have to worry about this. I'm going to force this, unfortunately, by Narset. And we're forced to negation it so they can't cast it a second time. And now if they want to overload our interaction, they can, but they don't, which is nice. Let's see if we can bend an arrow here. No need to show them that we have Wasteland just in case they do have like a duel that they're going to play out. I'll take this. And now if they have another removal spell, we lose. Or if they have another discard spell. 2 of our 4 plows are in the yard. Okay, that's good news. We still don't have an arrow. I'm going to play this out, and I'm just going to... well, wait a second. I can play this out, and I still have Spawn Sack to create the... to pay for... so I am going to do that. I'll play out my Tommy. Yeah, and we have technically 2 different ways of casting this Force Negation if we need to. The Spawn is nice because it just chills and is kind of like something we can sack to Archon if they get Archon or Cruelty out. All right. Drawing lots of land, which is not the worst, I guess. I guess I could play this out just to deter them from surveilling. I don't even know. Yeah, they do have fetches in their deck. So I'll come in like that and we'll pass. One more turn and we'll have Hardcast Force up, so we'll have double Force effectively. I mean, technically we have Hardcast Force up there. Yeah, it was pretty easy. Love beating these Reanimator decks when I've got 4 Endurances. Endurance didn't come up there, but like it does make you feel so safe. And Endurance or Plow, I guess, was the key card in that match because they got Archon out, and normally that's good enough if you're on if you're on Blue-Black Tempo, if you're on Delver or something like that, you're probably not beating that. But with Plow, we're just like, no big deal. 1 white mana, get rid of it. Right. Next round. Our opponent's been playing a lot of Jeskai, which doesn't have a lot of creatures other than like Tamiyo. It's actually kind of a bad matchup for us. This hand is perfectly fine though. If they do have like a dual heavy start, we could potentially punish with Loam. I'm going to keep. We can get rid of their Tommy, or we can just float this Pierce out. Oh, white border. Yeah, I'm going to just make them have a force here. There's no reason not to grab basics. No, wait. Yeah, we're penalized for grabbing basic planes specifically because we have Uro. I am going to grab just a Tundra here. Maybe they'll think it's the mirror. Do you have a force? 1 for 1. All right. I mean, it's still like a good trade-off for them. All right. No play. Pretty typical Jeskai. Wish them luck. I forgot to do that. I always like to encourage my opponents to have good luck and have fun above all else. That's really important. Okay, so options. One, we could just go ahead and pierce whatever they're going to play, or we could rumble. I kind of like rumbling here just because it does advance our board state, but it does give away that we're an Euro deck. And if they just stick like a Narset or something, that's going to be pretty annoying. I think it's a high likelihood that they have a Narset or a Teferi or something that our Spell Pierce would be able to interact with. So I think I'm going to just do Surveil. Yeah. And then next turn, what I can do, if they don't do a big splashy thing, I fetch my Surveil land, I Uro, and then I have a blue card for our blue mana to Spell Pierce them. So we did get lucky with that Plow. Even though I said the Plow is kind of stinky against them, they would have been able to flip there, and we'd be digging for our 2 Prismatic Endings to be able to remove her. So hopefully they do Teferi or something here. No? All right, well, I'm fine with that. Uro has got a snowball's chance in hell of surviving this turn cycle. They have lots of plows, lots of cards to get rid of them. But luckily, we do have more threats. Okay, this is a great card against them. Yeah, I'm going to take that. I think if we find a land, though, I think I'm going to go ahead and just rumble and see if I can... What do I want? I want to keep the... I want to keep the loam up. Or keep the rumble up. Let's see. If we just get land back, play land, we play loam, we're not totally tapped out here. I think it's fine. And then we can rumble later. But I do want to have lands for when I Uro, just to make sure I can get the ramp off that. They may pierce this, which is fine. It's a pierce they want to have to stop my pierce. Force. Do I care? I think I do. I mean, sure. Okay, we get our lands back. We can't play them. We're just going to pass. Now we can start Uroing into other stuff unless they play Narset, which would be annoying. Stock up. Okay, great. I'm so happy they're playing stock up here and not freaking Narset. Okay, Prismatic Vista. So they're on the basic heavy plan. Don't want that land right now. We drew another Uro. I think what I'm going to do is I'm just going to Uro into Rumble. We'll see what I find off this Uro. I would not be surprised at all if they just... I probably should have grabbed a basic there. Blue, green, colorless. I think I'm going to keep blue and white up. So I think this most likely does survive the initial kind of like jump onto the scene. Oh, they're going to plow it now. That's fine because I have a backup one. So I'm glad they're doing it now and not when I've escaped him. Yeah, that's fine. So I gain a ton of life, which probably doesn't matter in this matchup. I do not want to loam. Okay, I will play this out. Okay. Do want to rumble for momentum. I don't think there's much merit to like holding stuff up here. I'm going to get an island here. Am I going to get a plains? Plains feels bad. I do want to start getting my basics just in case. Oh no, I can't rumble now. Oh, I didn't think about that. Dumb. Okay, sorry, my excellent friends. I punted. Yeah, like that rumble would have been pretty decent there because it would have guaranteed that we can bring Uro back next turn. Definitely want to try to find like some sort of like force negation type effect or something so that I can guaranteed jam my my Narset in. I think what I'm going to do here, okay, stock up, that's fine. This is a 2-for-1, but my Narset will be more than a 2-for-1. It'll be like a persistent thorn in their side. A lot of people have been telling me that they've been going down on Narset because she feels bad against the Bowmaster decks, whereas, stock up accomplishes very similar things. Yeah, that's fine. I am going to go ahead and just plow now, just to avoid force negation. If they want to force now, then I can, okay, that's fine. Yeah, we don't have a lot of plows, but I'm glad they're finding homes. We could go ahead and do this. Yeah, I'm going to do it. Okay, so we can go ahead and start by doing this. Green, loam, we'll get 3 lands. 1, 2, 3. It's basically like what I like to call Ancestral Recall. Like we just drew 3 cards essentially. Now, I think I just want to go ahead and deploy 2 cards here. So I'm going to go white, green, blue, Uro. And then I'm going to get to put the second strand in. Oh, we drew force. That's great. Okay. And now I think we just go ahead and rumble here. I can get I can't get a force here. So I'll just get another trop. Let's rumble. Take the forest. Filled up our yard with lots of stuff to return Uro later. We're going to pass. So I think we may be favored. We have a lot of land. We've got Uro coming back. If they go get Mystic Sanctuary, we'll be able to tuck. I think at this point it is worth forcing this because this represents a lot of cards. It sucks to pitch Narset like this, but they force back, then that's okay. Yeah, they are forcing back. They pitch Stress down. All right. So they're going to get a bunch of cards. They probably have a land drop. Oh, they don't have a land drop. Okay. We don't have any more lands in our deck to fetch. I'm definitely not bringing that back here. Oh, Teferi is potentially good. I'm going to go green here. Let's go green, blue, green. Huh. Do I want to go ahead and stick to Teferi first to ensure that this comes back? They might try to stall it. I'll go ahead and Teferi. They force that. Okay. And now we'll just go green, green, blue, blue. Get Uro coming back. 1, 2. I don't need Loam triggering anymore. 3, 4, 5. Done. Uro comes in. I think we have literally one land left in our deck, and it's a Tundra. I'm going to play this out. I am going to go ahead and play Tommy, even though she's unprotected. And we'll pass. So now they probably need to, like, Verdict. That'd be a good card. It sucks that I had to pitch my Narset there, but I do think it was correct to attempt to stop them from drawing 3 cards. I am kind of inclined to just go ahead and fetch here to get the Tundra out of my deck so I don't draw it, because then this doesn't do anything. This could be a Valk. We've got 33 lands left, 33 cards left in our deck, but we're practically hellbent. This may be Mystic Sanctuary to put... okay, this is a Valk. All right, what are they going to do here? Prismatic Ending, that's fine. Okay. So we'll create a clue here. Dress down. That's fine. Just to draw and deny us the ability to draw. I'm going to go ahead and... yeah, I do want this Endurance because it's a pretty good card. Yeah, I'll get this land. Okay, and now we have double Endurance. We'll just pass with double Endurance up. And we should be able to beat them down from 14 over the course of a few turns. I'm just going to be very conservative about how I deploy these. Stock up is fine. I want to see if they do something like a Snapcaster or something that targets their graveyard. If they play if they Mystic Sanctuary, that's something they could do here. I'm going to go ahead and double Endurance. Tuck their graveyard. Okay, and now they can't Supreme Verdict this away. So Teferi is necessarily going to die. I'm not going to tuck my own graveyard because I want to be able to... yeah. So Teferi will probably bounce one of these, I imagine. They might be able to plow one of these and bounce the other one. They're down to 2 cards. They get a card off Teferi bounce, though. Their own Tommy. Okay. Yeah, that's fine. So I am going to attack both at Teferi. I just don't want him on the table. So they're just going to let him go. But like if they were able to like block one and keep him around, that would be really annoying for me. 3 cards in hand. Tommy comes in. I will block it just in case they somehow have Kaito in their deck. Basically free to do. That would just be so devastating if they're like, Underground Sea, Kaito. Actually, they wouldn't be able to do that because they wouldn't be able... Okay, stock up yet again. That's a good card for this period of the game. But they are going to need they need Supreme Verdict. Another stock up. Okay. Okay, fetch. All right. We did put some fetches back in their deck when we Endurance them, which is nice. I'm going to go ahead and just attack everything at them. And then we have the Brainstorm if they try to interact with our Tommy somehow. Go ahead and draw a card here. Rumble is worth casting because we might be able to discover an Uro. Wasteland is fine. I'll take it. Yeah, I'm going to take it, and I'm just going to waste them off red here. They may have a second red source. I guess I could have grabbed the Endurance instead, but my instinct was don't worry about it. Like, this is a Brainstorm. They're going to flip their Tommy, which is fine. That means they're not going to get any more clues off her. Fetching to 6. I don't know if they have any life gain in their deck. Another Brainstorm. They have cantripped a lot. Just imagine how good that Narset would have been had I prioritized sticking her. Tommy goes up. So there's the Supreme Verdict. I'm going to Brainstorm. See if I can save my Tommy here. They may have a force for this. They don't. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and put this back. That does nothing. And I'll put this back too. Okay, so she flips. They destroy all our stuff. It's fine. I can put the Endurance in, end step, and still pressure Tommy. That's fine. That sucks, but what are we going to do? They still have the clue they can crack here. I have a Tommy on top. There's Ponder. They still have more stuff to do. I'm going to put their entire graveyard back in their deck. I hope they go and get Mystic Sanctuary here so I can at least snuff that. Green, green, blue, Endurance Endurance will tuck your graveyard. They could Mystic Sanctuary, Supreme Verdict back to the top of their deck if they wanted to. There's nothing I can do to stop that if they do. So I am going to go after Tommy here because I don't want her to ultimate, and it sucks, but like I'm just kind of in the waiting room for good stuff. Tommy comes out. We'll pass. Fetching to 5. So this keeps Tommy from like recurring stuff. Clue Crack. Tommy goes up. Teferi. Unfortunately, I'm going to just have to brainstorm here. I do want forward momentum. Okay, these are terrible. We'll put these back. We're going to rumble. We do have a flip Planeswalker that they can't be targeted by Teferi. If they have Prismatic Ending or something like that, that's too bad. They'll probably just bounce our Endurance. If they have like Plow, they could regrow Plow next turn. They are bouncing Endurance. I can't replay Endurance because of Teferi. All right, so let's go ahead and plus here first. See if we can get a Uro now. We do find an Uro. I actually think I play Uro and then I bring him back too. Let's see, do I have 1, 2, 3? 1, 2, 3. Yeah, I can do that. So I'll get 2 cards along the way. I don't want these other cards. Like the Misties do nothing here. Okay, so let's go blue, green, blue, Uro. We will go ahead and get the ability. Draw an unknown card. Done. I don't want to put that on the battlefield. I am kind of tempted to... No, I'm going to bring him back. They're going to just plow him, I'm sure, but let's get rid of these fetches that we definitely don't want to draw. Should they get shuffled back into our deck? 13 minutes on the clock. This is going to be a freaking grinder. Done. Okay. Plus Tommy, we've done everything we can do. We're going to pass their turn, and we'll just F6 through their turn since we can't do anything. I'm just going to hope they're going to run out of material. What are they doing? Wandering Emperor, yeah. They can exile tapped creatures. They can... Yeah, there we go. I mean, it's crazy that we're losing this because we're getting tons of card advantage. And we have like engines, like recurring card advantage engines. But they just have hit like all these freaking cantrips. I guess Stock Up is a really good card. I didn't think it was, but apparently it is. They can regrow the Plow. They can clear that. They can attack Tommy. They've got their Super Friends network in place. I'm just going to take this. Yep. I'll keep this around for later. Plow doesn't really do jack here. We can plus. I do like going ahead and pondering, and then I can shuffle if I don't like any of these cards, and then I can Narset. I think we just concede. I mean, we can tuck our deck into our graveyard. I'm just trying to think of a scenario in which we can somehow win. Because we bring Uro back, and they just clear her. Yeah, I'm going to keep trying. Green, white, blue. Uro. Draw trigger. I should have cleared with Narset, but if I do, then I don't get to do anything this turn. I don't think there's any merit to putting that in. Okay, so Uro dies. I can go ahead and ponder, clear the Uro, or clear, like shuffle the bag top card, all 3 bag cards. Yeah, and then I will attempt to bring Uro back. I guess I can play that out just in case they have removal. Green, green, blue, blue. Again, another turn where I would love to bring Narset out, but it's just there isn't the mana to do so. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Done. 12 minutes on the clock. They can counter this with a force. That's fine. I think I'm going to go ahead and just plow one of these. I don't know that I'm going to have a better plow option later. I'm just going to F6. I don't think I'm going to recoup enough time for it to be worth my time to do this. I think I should concede. Because next turn they're going to be able to Tamiyo. Okay, so like the one thing I could do would be if Narset sticks and they can't do anything about it, they're down to 1 card. I'm not going to give up. I am going to block here. I want to keep my my Tommy flush. Okay, now let's start with the Narset and see if that works. This really has to like stick. Good game. There's no way we're coming back from that. I guess I could have like maybe baited it out, but yeah. Okay, so against them, I think the Hydroblast come in. That's it, really? Like, I mean, you could bring in the Force Negations. The Plows can come out. I think I'll bring these in. And then, Plow comes out. Prismatic Ending is okay. Lavinia, not the greatest. I think we could bring in a Carpet. We could cut the Wastelands. Maybe 2 Carpets. I do want to cut Loam just because it's so slow. Endurance is an attacker. I think that's the rationale for keeping it. Yeah, I think I'm going to cut 2 of the negations. I don't think we need all 4. So again, we're just going to try to squeeze as fast as we can. But like their deck is adapted grinding out other control decks. It's like a terrible deck. Like Jeskai, I'm sorry, but it's not a very strong deck in my humble opinion. People like I have a lot of friends that swear by it, but like I've tried it so many times. I just think it's underpowered. I'm going to keep this. This has some interaction. We have a Tommy that probably baits they can't take their Plows out, but we can. Okay. And this will probably get removed. But you have to like dare to put something out there. I mean, we could just force this and get, I mean, it is a card draw engine. I'll pitch the Hydro here. And that way I have, Pierce and Brainstorm up, and I'm at least getting clues. Teferi is a good card. Yeah, I could have taken my 1-for-1 there, but like, I don't know. Something tells me that like she's going to be pretty good with these clues. If my opponent, they're going to have to try several times to get rid of her. That's fine. They may have a Pyro. Okay, so I could risk it cracking the clue, and then they Pyro her. I'm going to try it. Okay, now we have a Force. Okay. So we are ahead on the draw front. I'm also going to go ahead and Brainstorm here, just because they don't have a lot of way to pressure our Planeswalker, and that's how we could get a quick kill. So I will Brainstorm here. And then I have Pierce and Double Force. Okay, so this is pretty good. I'm going to put back a Ponder and a Force. Play this out. And then we have Pierce up. We don't have to shuffle away that Ponder. We can also crack a clue in the end step. They're island cycling. Teferi would be a pretty big beating if they have it, but we would counter it. So get their clue. They're like 6 minutes ahead on clock, basically. A lot of time. Surgical on Force, that's fine. Or Brainstorm. You shouldn't bring this card in. What the heck? At least save it for my Arrow. I think Surgical is the most overboarded card in Magic the Gathering history. I just don't think it's that great of a card. It shouldn't be in anybody's sideboard right now, in my opinion, because it doesn't deal with oops. It does deal with Reanimator, but it's not very good against Cephalid Breakfast. It's okay against Dredge, but like to bring this in against a fair deck, like that's a huge win. They just 2-for-1 themselves to like no real benefit. Okay, they're cracking a clue here. That's fine. And I'm gonna presume that we can get away with this. We go get an island just in case, and I will crack draw. All right, and we got the Narset, which is really good here. Play this out. Plus, I am going to go ahead and Narset blue, and I'm tapping like this because I do know that they may play Back to Basics, which is another, in my humble opinion, outmoded card that a lot of these players play. I think Carpet is pretty good, but I'd rather just take the Force Negation at this point because we're about to Tamiyo Ultimate. We just need to stave off Pyro. Yeah, that worked really well. Okay. So they have seen our deck. That is one advantage to playing that Surgical. They've seen our sideboard strategy. I don't plan to change my sideboard strategy. Let's go. So my theory is that this matchup is probably like 50-50. They have Red Blast, but we have Uro, which is recurring. We have like more engine cards than they do. I think Stock Up's good in combo decks where you're like playing. I'll stop talking. I'll just focus. This seems fine. Yeah, I'm going to keep this. I almost always keep against Jeskai. Every card matters. Okay, Tommy making her appearance yet again. That might be our undoing. I'm just going to surveil here. We're not going to play on basics. We don't have that luxury with our current land draw. I want to get Endurance out so I can like ambush Tommy. They don't play Days, so it's fairly reliable. I don't have a Spell Pierce for this. I think I just have to let it happen and hope that we can find a Prismatic Ending. We have 2 in the deck, but we could definitely be dead to this. This is where playing a 3rd Prismatic Ending, like they probably play 3. And like almost every Jeskai player I know plays 3. When I say Jeskai player, like pretty much all the Jeskai players, oh, that's good. That's very good. That I know, like just play Jeskai. They're like Jeskai diehards. Through thick and through thin. Okay, I'm going to grab the Tundra here, and we are going to attempt to end this. And we might get into a force fight, which would suck because I don't actually have a force. They do have the force. I have no choice really here but to brainstorm and hope that I hit one of my 4 forces. I do. That's incredibly lucky. I don't think I deserve that luck, frankly. I'll also note that I'm brainstorm locked here. Next turn I am going to need a ponder to get out of this. I'll put these on top. I only want one of them. Maybe they give me a free shuffle somehow. I think maybe Hydroblast goes back here. Yeah, Hydroblast is the pitch. Do they have a second force? They have a second force. Okay, so we're almost certainly screwed. We could Rumble here, and then we have the mana that drop the Endurance just in time to go out. Okay, they're redrawing a land. Noting that they did miss a land drop here. What did they pitch to force? It's frustrating because like we're really far ahead, but we're almost. Oh, they minused. That's good for us. Surgical Link or Prismatic Ending. Yeah, they gave us a free shuffle. That's kind of what we wanted. So now we can just pressure that with. We have 2 Endurances and 4 Teferis. Or 4, let's see. Yeah, those are the only ways we had to remove her, unfortunately. So they did remove our Surgicals. All right, so what I'm going to do here is I am going to go ahead and Rumble because I need to find a land pretty badly. This should find a land. It does. And we get to put good stuff in our yard. So I'll take that. Now I'm going to just... I am going to play with the Tommy because I want them to use their plows on her. They know that I have a Brainstorm in hand. If I get the Trop, then I'm insulated. If I get the island, then I have less to worry about with, no, I'm just going to not play. I'm not going to worry about back to basics. If they have back to basics, we're screwed anyway. I'm going to play Tommy just because she helps me advance my board state a little bit. Clue Crack. Did they find a land? Plussing. Okay. So we don't have any pressure for Tommy right now. We need to find more mana so we can bring back Uro. I think I'm going to attack and I'm going to flip my Tommy. Okay, and now I'm going to Brainstorm, and this is going to hope to find a land, and then I'm going to hope to bring back Uro in time to pressure her. Okay, that works great. I don't need the redundant... Well, I may actually need the redundant Uro. I'm going to put back Hydroblast right now, and I'll put back a Ponder. Tommy flips. I'll plus... I've got Clue Crack and Pierce here. Next turn, we bring back Uro. We have Pierce up. We actually don't have Pierce up. Yeah, they're like basically 2 turns from winning, which is terrifying. So I think I have an Uro on top of my deck. I want to draw that. It might be the Hydroblast. I may have misstacked. With a Ponder. Okay, well, oh, I've got the Uro in my hand. That's why. Okay, I was like, where's my Uro go? Okay, so I'm going to get a Savannah here. And we're just going to pass to our turn. Carpet is pretty good. No, it's only 1 mana source. Something is worth doing. There's not really a card in my graveyard that's like super strong to get back. Probably Force. I think I get back Force. Let's go ahead and green here for Carpet. Let's go to combat. Post-combat, we're going to do the Uro thing. We'll add green. So we have to force like a plow here on our Uro. Blue. Let's exile these lands. Endurance doesn't do anything. Done. See if we draw a land. That would be good. We don't. Okay, so we really have to force to protect so we can get an attack in. Red source. Don't tell me it's Pyro. I think the odds of us actually successfully hitting Tamiyo are pretty low. But I don't think I necessarily did anything wrong. So this is going to be a force. We had to tap out. if they have the pierce, if they have another, like a plow, any number of things. They don't have 3 colors to... Okay, they're plussing. All right, we're going to come in for a swing. Okay, there's a land. I'm not going to do that yet. I'm just going to go in for the... I'll plus here. I definitely don't want to forget to do that. Let's go in. Let's attack Tommy. We have Pierce up. We have Brainstorm that can potentially find us something. That comes in. Okay, we may have turned the corner, folks. My excellent friends. I do want to add green here, and I'm just going to rumble again. Rumble, and I'll tap this, I guess. I guess I'll take this. So a bunch of stuff goes to the yard. We do have a land for turn. Our mana base is being built out very nicely here. We can rebuy a force again, which is probably what I'm going to do with this Tommy. I'm more on the Uro train here. We can just bring Uro back and still swing in time. So I'm not going to sweat this. Also, I've got endurance. Okay, let's endurance. Green, green, colorless, endurance. All right, I'll put all that stuff back in your deck. I am going to go ahead and fetch. I've already got the Surveil. I probably shouldn't fetch here. I'll get the planes just so we have all the basics. Okay. I will add blue. We'll go blue, and we'll go blue, green, green, blue. You know what? I'm going to do this correctly. I'm going to go green, green, blue. This way I keep all my colors up. We're going to bring Uro back. I am really racing against the clock here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Done. I will put a land in. I still have plenty of lands to fetch. Okay. We're going to plus here, I guess. I'm going to go ahead and attack Tommy. I do believe I have... No, I don't have any... I have 1 trop left, so I can endurance the second time here and get rid of Tommy. But like if they draw a freaking... what's it called? Supreme Verdict. It just takes up so much of our clock to get through it all. Okay. So now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go ahead and get my green source. Trop. Green. Colorless. Green. Endurance. Cast. We don't have blue up, unfortunately. They could do something to force this, or Pyroblast or Uro, or do any number of things. We can't interact with it, unfortunately. If there's a force, that's fine. Okay. Now they're tapped out. I'm just gonna I'm gonna decline that trigger. I'm gonna go to combat. I'm gonna attack them, and I'm gonna attack Tamiyo. I'm gonna regrow a force. I don't care about Narset anymore. That's not what this game is about. Or I don't care about my own Tamiyo. The game is 100% about me winning in time. Minus. Let's get our force back. Let's pass. I'm just trying to get my attacks in, and it sucks that I have to play like this, but yeah, my deck is much more click intensive than their deck is. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and get the last land out of my deck so I don't have to worry about drawing it. Oh, actually I have 1 more, but I'll get the basics. Okay, cool. I could have put the endurance in. I'm just gonna counter this. Blue, blue, yeah, whatever this. Force it. They're just trying to eat up my clock here. They may have another force. They may have something like Hydroblast or something. Pyroblast. I'll just brainstorm here, I guess. Hope to find something. Okay, I did. Put these 2 cards back. I'm going to go ahead and force. Just shamelessly taking up my clock when I'm behind. I totally understand like why they're doing it, what they're doing. Okay, I'm going to go yes. I'll add blue. I don't know why I did that. It doesn't matter. Come in for a hug. No. Okay. They take a bunch of damage. I'm going to plus. I've got Pierce as my sole kind of shield against what they're doing. I can't put in endurance because I tapped wrong. So I have to do another turn cycle here. That's fine. I'm going to regrow my force here. Oh, I drew another force. That's good. No. Okay, let's go ahead and go to attack. Attack. They're at 1. Okay. No, let's go ahead and just freaking... I mean, it sucks. No, I can't do this. I just have to pass, and then I have to do it in step. If they have the Supreme Verdict, I need to be ready for that. Stock up is fine. Now, like a plow can be pierced. I just have to get to attack. Sure. 18 seconds. Come on. Land. Okay, Tommy. Green. Colorless green. Endurance. Cast. Trigger. Target them. Whatever. Hurry. All right, and now we have to freaking attack with 4 seconds on the board. No. Combat. Attack with all creatures, F6. Gosh! That's so frustrating. 1 second. Oh my goodness, 1 second. Yeah, I had the lethal attack at F6. I'm sorry, my excellent friends. I did my best. Sorry about the shouting. It's so frustrating that their deck just stays alive. It doesn't win the game. It doesn't do anything to win the game. It just stays alive. I can't believe I'm complaining about Jeskai Control. But it's just a recipe for going to time. But if you win the first round, if you win the first game, then, or if you play on the clocks, your answers are much more time efficient than your opponent's. So I'm not going to make any excuses for my play. I think I played really tight and I played really fast. It was just very click intensive. See you in the final round. All right, final round. We're up against Control Gamer, Children of Bottom, which cool, metal band. I think that's what COB stands for. I am going to keep this hand. This is a very flexible hand. They could be on combo, but they've historically been on control. Gosh, that previous round just freaking did me in. Sorry, my excellent friends, if I kind of lost composure there. It's just so frustrating that it was the 1 second and I'm clicking everything, passing all the priority. I just need to manage my clock better. I have no excuses. But they were dead on the stack. They had one card in hand. And I had them dead so many different directions too. Yeah, I'll stop bitching about the previous round. That is very good against control decks. I'm going to keep it. I am a little worried that they could be this is blue-red. This could be show and tell, sneak and show. Also, if you hear my kids playing piano in the background, my son's playing his original composition. And if you hear my daughter screaming in the background, she's always screaming about the cat. All right. We are up against an aggro gamer. Do they have the bubble? They don't. Okay. This is great. So what I'm going to do here, I think to restrict their ability to do stuff, I do kind of want to waste them because they have to double spell and they didn't have the bobble. So I think what I'll do is I'll just go ahead and ponder here. And I'm looking for plows, prismatic endings, stuff like that. This is pretty good. I don't need the spell pierce, but the rumble can help us dig to, it can help us get rid of the spell pierce that we don't want. I will take the plow. I'll put the rumble in hand. And I am going to go after their land here. I'll go after the one that can surveil. Maybe it's a mistake to do that, but because then they have to surveil and they don't get the mana immediately. Endurance is going to be really good here. We'll have plow in hand, which we probably won't want to use on the Cori-Steel Cutter token if they have it. Wasteland of their own. Okay. That's fine. All right. We're back to kind of equilibrium, so to speak. We do have to draw the bad card that I didn't want to draw, but we have basics. I'll just play this out and I'll pass. I think there's a high likelihood they have days, so I'm not going to be casting any spells this turn cycle anyway. I'm just going to take it slow and steady. This is a good card to plow. So we'll play a basic. We have Pierce up, which is actually pretty awesome in case they have Force. This is a must-kill card. You don't leave this on the table. I hope they Force. I would love to Pierce. Okay. Next turn, we have Malevolent Rumble, probably finding us a land. Hopefully binning an Uro. I'm not going to get greedy and go Teferi yet. I do want to get that back in their hand. That'd be cool, but Rumble. This card has been great, by the way. All right. Yeah, I'll take the Endurance and I'll bin the Uro. That's a pretty perfect turn. I wouldn't be surprised if they conceded pretty soon. I don't want to daze anything now because it would or Spell Pierce. Actually, Spell Pierce I could sack. It might turn on Cori, but countering their spells is more important. Okay, they don't have anything. This is great. Okay, let's draw a land. Okay, so we could just Uro just to dig deeper into our deck. We could also just Teferi and bounce that. I kind of want to do that. Yeah, I mean, it's aggro. We have Spell Pierce up if they force. They're going to double daze. So the heads up play is to just let this happen because we know they have the second daze. And then they don't get the Cori-Steel Cutter. But I'm actually fine with just paying just in case. Because I don't really care about the Cori-Steel Cutter that much and we're going to get a card out of this. Like, it's essentially a 2-for-1. Yeah, and that makes sense why they didn't have anything to do because they had a interaction heavy hand. Yeah, okay. So they get a 2-2. It's technically a 1-1 attached to that thing. I'm not terrified of it, but it could do some damage over the next few turns. Now I am glad that I wasted the Thundering Falls instead of wasting the Volk because they would be able to probably just play this out, get value. They have another one. This triggers their original one. Yeah, I can't interact. I think Endurance will be really good against this. They played out the land already, so we're not going to get wasted. That's great. All right. I think here we loam. Yeah, I'm going to loam. Just get these 2 cards back, and we just hedge maze here. If they try to force this, okay, they didn't. So we have the option of just wasting them, but I kind of like just digging deeper into my deck with this. So we can bin pretty much anything. A land is fine to bin because we already have the plains and we have as many lands as we need now. So I don't actually have Endurance next turn, which I would, or I don't actually have Uro next turn, unfortunately, but I do have Endurance. And I'm keen to just go ahead and resolve and earn Endurance here. Okay, they may... Okay, is this Merc? Merc might actually be a problem, unfortunately. Yeah, I can't believe we're getting tempoed out, but we are. How big is this thing? It's a 5/5. So we're taking 2. I guess I could have brainstormed to potentially find a force. Do I want to go ahead and do that now just for mana efficiency? I think I am. I'm going to brainstorm here. I don't like it, but wasting them is not going to be good. Yeah, that's fine. Damn, that counts as a second card. Okay, well, at least it's post-combat. Yeah, they get 2 additional tokens. That may have been a huge punt. I didn't think about the fact that they could have another reactive spell in hand. Okay, so Endurance comes in. That will almost certainly resolve because they've already used all their interaction. Unless they waste my... If they waste one of these, then I can't bring out Endurance. They do know Endurance is in my hand. Okay, that's fine. I'm just going to go ahead and Endurance. If I buff this, it is kind of a bad... I kind of don't want to buff their dude. I think I'm just going to skip doing that. I know that makes it easier for them to cast subsequent mercs, but they're probably just playing 1. Or probably just playing 2. Okay. So now we can loam. I do want to get loam here. And then we just need to hope that they don't have more wastelands. Because we need a turn cycle. I think it's fine to waste their land. Next turn, yeah, it keeps them from doing anything. It keeps them from really doing much with the prowess. They do have a Vulcan in hand. But if they swing, I'll definitely take out one of these things. So they're not going to be able to double spell, I don't think. So we have to take the 5 from this, and we're going to block one of these that's equipped. So that dies. And then they still have 3 creatures. We're at 7. So we're pretty much dead to Merc. We actually... So if I loam, I do get back enough land that I can... I have to chump, and then I take 3. And then Uro comes online. I'm not sure if Uro comes online in time. I'm really embarrassed that like the game has gotten to this situation. I could just Uro now and hope to hit land. But if I loam, then I'm guaranteed to hit land. Gaining life is good, but I'm not sure that I'll have a win. I think I need to do this. This may seem crazy because then they just buff these and like I'm really low. Wait. I mean, I have Spell Pierce in hand. I can just get a... Yeah. So we're going to get back lands that we don't actually have to fetch with. Yeah, I'll do that. Actually, like all these. I haven't even fetched this entire game, I guess. So I kept mana up so I can Spell Pierce if I need to. I think what we do here is we just play this out. So we don't have to discard. Next turn, we bring back Uro. And hopefully we find a plow effect. Really, that's what we're counting on. Like, if we can find a plow for the Merc, then we're in a good situation. We have 2 plows left in our deck, though. That's not very many. They're fetching. They may have something to do, like a bolt would be good. If they have another Cori-Steel, Petty Theft, yeah, I'm just going to pierce that. If they have like some other interaction on top of it, it's pretty bad for us because they've already got pretty big creatures. Okay, so their monks get buffed. So it is a force block now on the Merc. I don't think there's a path out if we don't find exactly Plow right now. And even with Plow, it's going to be super tight. I'm not going to loam here. Okay, let's think about this. So Endurance doesn't do it. We could Uro into a potential Plow, and that would keep us alive. I'm going to go ahead and try it. Oh, Tamiyo does it, actually. She keeps us alive for a turn cycle. So the question is, do we want to waste them since we don't have anything else going on? We could, yeah. I think we kind of do. And then, let's see, we take 3 damage here, but we drop the 2 if they don't have a spell. I think we do want to waste just to minimize the likelihood that they can kill us. And then next turn, we just have to hope that some combination of... Can we get to Endurance next turn? So 1, 2, 3. So no, we won't be able to get to Endurance next turn. I'm going to take this just to reduce the likelihood that they can cast something. If they can't cast anything, then that augurs well. Like if they draw another Cori-Steel or some red spell that they don't have red mana for, we can survive. They drew a land. They do have a spell to cast here. Oh, they're just equipping. Oh, that gives trample. I didn't think about that. Yeah, I didn't think about the fact that they get trample from that. All right, let's go to the next game. Yeah, we got tempoed out. And we got tempoed out. We were on the draw, it's worth noting. And we didn't know what we were up against. Now that we know what we're up against, I think Wrath comes in. It's pretty good. We have to have double white to do it. But we do have Carpet to help us get there. We're bringing in Hydro for sure. I don't think we bring in Force of Vigor in this matchup. It's not what it's about. I'm tempted to cut the forces. Narset comes out. They have Pyroblast. Spellpierce comes out. I just don't think it's good enough. Tamiyo's terrible in this matchup. But yeah, I think we cut Tamiyo. I think Teferi can stay in just because he can bounce. Loam is definitely very good. Yeah, him being able to bounce out a token is not nothing. I think we could cut a force on the play. On the draw, I'll probably bring it back in. I don't want to cut any lands at all. Maybe we could cut our wastelands. Yeah, we're not going to be wasting them. I don't think that's a good value proposition in general. So we could keep 1 Tommy. I'll do that. So the best case scenario is like they get a bunch of stuff on the board and we wrath it. The other best case is we get... I mean, this hand seems very good. We can grab basics and we can rumble. I'm going to do it. So I'll just skip the planes for now, most likely. I guess I could just go ahead and Island Ponder here. I think that's fine. And if we can find a... these are... I do like the Endurance. I like the Forest for sure. I think what we do is we do like this, and then we could, shuffle away and get the planes depending on what they do next turn. And then we'll have our basics down, and I imagine they have bolts too. So we were like, even if we'd stabilized, it would have been hard. Preordain, very aggressive with including cantrips in their deck. Okay. There's the Endurance we knew about. I think we could just rumble here and they may daze it, and I'm fine with that. Because we draw a force. I think I'm just going to be patient. Yeah, because I can get basic planes here, shuffle the deck, ensure we don't draw a bad card. I don't want to draw that force at all. Do they have it? Okay. Do they have the combo? They don't. Okay, great. So I'm going to go ahead and grab planes here. And even though it doesn't help our Uro, I just don't want to get wasted. Maybe it's correct to go ahead and grab Tundra here just because it does help our Uro. And yeah, I think it's... Maybe we grab Savannah. We grab Savannah and then we have Endurance up. Yeah, I'm going to do that. We go like this. Rumble. I could have Uro'd there, but I want to try to make sure I have a land in play in hand. I think I'm going to take the Endurance here just in case they waste us. Or the Hedge Maze rather. That is like a slow play. Now we have days protected, plow if we need it. And next turn we can Uro and put a land in. Yeah, I'd rather not actually use this spawn if I can avoid it, but our opponent doesn't have anything going on. This just kind of happens sometimes when you're playing cards like this. Okay, that's great. So I'm going to go ahead and Uro. This might get pyroed. Okay, it didn't get pyroed. I think we're pretty far ahead. Yeah, I'll put that out. Wrath of the Skies is great. I don't need another Rumble. Yeah, I'm just going to bin it. I think we can do better. At this point, I just want to draw more exile-based removal. Hopefully they don't have surgical extraction. That would be a bummer. Could brainstorm and then like endurance myself. That would be ugly. But that would be a way to dodge. Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, I mean, like this giving trample, haste, and +1/+1, it's a pretty good equipment even without the flurry trigger. This is fine. I can't do anything about this. Once it comes into play, as soon as I get priority, I am going to plow it. Okay, I'm going to plow. So let's see. We have a guaranteed blue and a guaranteed green, so they can't waste us off of it. I'm going to get blue. And you may be saying, like, why don't you Wrath? I want to save that. That's like I'll wait till there are like a few more permanents in. Okay, we drew Force, which basically guarantees that this is going to resolve. So blue, blue, green, green. Uro. Did I screw up? Blue, blue, green, green. Uro comes back. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So they may pyro this, and I'm not going to fight over it if they do. That's fine. It's a 2-for-1. And if I fight over it, there's a possibility they get yet another monk, which I want to kind of delay. So Uro will just come right back next turn. They've got a ton of lands, which I don't think they want. They binned a DRC. Interesting. They played another land. That's unfortunate for them. I don't know what they would be doing with all that land. Hardcast Force is on the menu. I'm going to take this damage. I'll undo it very quickly with Uro. Green, blue, blue, green. Let's try Uro one more time, shall we? 1, 2. Okay. Does Uro make it back this time? They're fetching. I think they have Hardcast Force. I guess at this point, it is worth asking, do I just want to like force this? And if they're tapping out for Hardcast Force, then that means they're going to have to force back, which is fine. Prowess trigger. So I'll force. Pitch my Precious Brainstorm here. Do they have another force? They do have Force Negation. So they do get a token. I think it's fine. So my Force doesn't go to the graveyard, unfortunately. My Uro does. I'm pretty far away from using Uro. I'm just going to wait. Turn cycle. And then maybe I Wrath if they don't waste me. I only have 2 white sources. And then Endurance can come in and like preordain. Okay. So I might take a lot of damage this turn. Okay. They get another trigger. So now that they've forced so aggressively, they are basically down to 1 card in hand. So I think the odds of Wrath resolving are a little bit higher now. They have another bauble. Oh, they're just using it to look. Okay. And I'm just going to take it. I'll use this for mana. Taking 8 damage. Scary. So they don't have Hardcast Force up, but they could have Hardcast Force of Negation, which would make sense to bring in here. Okay, I'm going to play this out. Now I'm going to go white, white, blue, colorless, Wrath. Put all the mana into it. We're going to try to Wrath for 2 and get rid of this Cori-Steel. If they have Force, we're in like really deep trouble. Okay, they didn't have it. And so now I think it's fine to go into Endurance, and they may have a Daze, but like the damage is done, and I don't want them to just like slam a freaking Murktide here. All right, I think we're very much in the driver's seat now. Endurance is very good against their deck. Okay, they play yet another land. They've been completely flooded. I can't imagine they want to see those lands. All right, let's go in for a hug. I do want to play out the Misty just because it potentially helps me get closer to bringing back Uro, which is how I get out of burn range. I can always plow my own creature as bad as that feels if I absolutely need to. I'm going to try to ambush it and then I can plow it if that doesn't work. How many Endurances does this guy play? Here comes the Force. That's a bummer. It does feed my yard. I am going to plow this. Okay. And I think it is correct to go ahead and fetch here just to, like, we're putting ourselves in double bolt range. But I do want to get Uro. I think I'm going to take a draw. Brainstorm would be great. Oh, Rumble does it. Yeah, let's just Rumble. Okay, we'll take this Endurance. And now I'm just going to go green, green. I have to fetch. If their last card is Pyro and they draw a double bolt, it'll be pretty sad. Oh, I guess another card that could kill me would be Price of Progress, which they may very well have in their deck. I didn't think about that until just now. That's very scary. So we're in. We get to draw a card. Force would be good because then I could brainstorm. Oh, Life from the Loam doesn't really help. Yeah, we're actually like super close to dead. If they do have... I don't think I should play out any more lands. Yeah, we would take 10. Oh, we're actually dead to Price of Progress if they find that. That would be a humiliating way to lose after completely establishing control in a game like this. Brainstorm. Yeah. Gosh, I'm so afraid of Price of Progress now. It won't kill them. They'll take 8. Yeah, they scooped. We got so lucky that they didn't have pop. I didn't even think about it till the last minute. Okay, and I would definitely be boarding in pop here if I had it, which I would probably have it because it's really good against lands. Okay, so I think we take out... No, we're going to keep all the forces in. I think we probably keep the deck exactly the same way as it is now. Loam is good just because it can undo like a bunch of their... yeah, I'm just going to aggressively fetch basics here. Wrath felt great, though. It's definitely an outstanding sideboard option. This is a carpet hand. If carpet gets countered, we're screwed. I think I have to trop in a carpet. I'm not going to put back a hand this juicy. Okay, that's a bummer. Please don't have days. If they have days or force, it's just the end. I'm going to get a green source, and we're going to just try to overcome this if they do, in fact, have the counter spell. But they need specifically days or force. They do have the force. Okay. They get the Chevelle. Maybe that was a greedy keep. I mean, they have 8 force effects. What did they pitch here? They pitched a Ponder. Okay, any land and we have Rumble. But we actually only have, I think, like 19 lands in the deck because I took out the 2 forces, or the 2 wastelands. So we actually have 17 lands and 51 cards right now. We could draw another carpet, which would be great. Here this comes in. Do they also have the thing? Because we could die very quickly. Oh, so embarrassing. Yeah, I may actually have to like endurance them to not take so much damage later. If it comes down to it. I don't want to get rid of this Rumble. Please give me a land. I don't deserve a land, and I'm not being rewarded with land. Yeah, we're just going to die here, I think. They have 2 cards left in hand, but they do have card selection. Another Cori. Oh, they're just equipping it. Yeah, that's fine. I mean, we're lucky in that they don't have a lot of action. They're just doing an extra damage here. We might draw out of it. I'm going to be hopeful. So much interaction if we find a land. I can... I mean, this loam would be great if I get a chance to cast it. I think it's probably the discard. It's so hard to know what to do. And like they haven't had the wasteland, but like they 100% could have had the wasteland, and that would have just been death. We wouldn't be drawing to really anything. So I don't regret getting the basic, considering that I had Rumble in my hand. But it is painful here. I'm going to put the Brainstorm in the yard. I'm going to hold on to Loam. I'm going to dream that they have a slow rollout here. They've got 3 cards in hand. All they need is 2 spells. Yeah, that's pretty good. Do they have another spell? Okay, so now we're like really in the danger zone. Oh, they're just moving. Such a relief. My goodness. So we're taking 3 here. They may have double days in their hand. That would make sense as something that they would cast here. Oh my goodness. Yeah, it's just, my deck's teasing me. This is so good, but I need more land. It's crazy that I'm binning this, but we don't have white mana. It is correct to bin it. Oh no. Yeah, I'm glad I binned that. We're taking another 3. They still don't have the card types. Carpet would be insane here, but I presume they have a daze. Okay, that's lucky. I'm going to go ahead and just immediately loam. I'm going to get planes. I could just take the pressure off a little bit here. If they daze, I think that's fine. I think it's likely they have daze. I'm going to do this. I'm putting myself really into the breach, especially considering that, yeah, this is going to get dazed. They have no reason not to daze here. Or force of negation would also do it. Yeah. So next turn we have plow on one of them. The important thing is this reduces their ability to double spell during their turn, which reduces their clock a little bit. I think I want to go ahead and hit their graveyard here because it reduces the ability for them to... I'm going to do it during their upkeep. Yeah, I am so desperate that I'm going to endurance them. I have lots of ways of pulling back into this game. I plow here and then I hydroblast. But dealing with a Murktide on top of all this would be too much, I think. This might give them a window. Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and do it. Yeah, and leave a comment with a timestamp if you think this is a misplay. But like I need to survive. I'm going to take 3 for sure. Okay, they didn't have a daze here. They didn't force it. Now we don't have to worry about them growing huge immediately. We're just taking 3. I am going to dredge my Life from the Loam, cast it, and hope to get a land. But like daze at this point would be devastating. We could take an organic draw. We could just plow this, take an organic draw. But I want to get to the blue mana. Okay, and now if we can get the blue mana, we can Hydroblast. They may have like bolts as their last cards. This is a force negation. That does trigger here. Okay. So next turn we have plow on the bigger of the two. I probably need to do it during their turn as well. We're going to be at 3. If we find an island, oh, I think we're dead. If they find, they just need a card to cast and we're dead. Sorry, my excellent friends. I tried. I kept a greedy keep. I'm not sure if I'd mulligan if I'd found something else. They do apply a lot of pressure very quickly here. Yeah, because we needed to find an island and then we could Hydroblast. Good games. Yeah, that was a disappointing league. I mean, like, the Jeskai match was really disappointing, but it was disappointing because I feel like we're like super favored in that final round. Carpet's such an insane card against them. If it does stick, it's just like GG. They don't have any way to deal with it. They have 2 borrowers that they can use to bounce it out of play, but that's it. And we had the 3 carpets, and I was like, well, even if they counter that, like there's a decent chance we're going to draw another carpet. We're going to draw some land, but like most of our hand was completely turned off the entire time. They did have the wasteland probably in hand from the very beginning. So you should always presume that they're going to dig for or find a wasteland and that you shouldn't keep a 1 land that can't play basic. So I did play the basic hoping the carpet stuck. If carpet had stuck, the game would have been completely different. But again, I wouldn't fault anyone for thinking that like I made a rookie mistake in keeping that hand. Had we mulliganed, we had a decent chance of finding a 2-lander, but like we only had 3 carpets in the deck and the carpet's the best card against them. Like it just completely changes the nature of the game because suddenly you're casting your arrows and things like that. Like this deck is extremely mana constrained. So observations about the deck, not just that final round. First of all, as I said, it's very click intensive. Jeskai is a control deck that is not click intensive. You basically just every turn, like minus your Narset, you plus your Teferi, you plus your Tamiyo, and you just sit around and you don't do anything and you just react to what they're doing. With our deck, we have to proactively push. We're not really a control deck in the sense that we're like a tap out value deck is how I kind of think of it. Like we're tapping out all the time, either to build up our graveyard with Malevolent Rumble or to get Uro to come back, and we're spending 4 mana and a bunch of cards to get Uro to come back and then just blast it, right? So this is a clock intensive deck. It's a lot easier to play fast in paper than it is on MTGO because you have lots of triggers, like Life from the Loam causes a trigger every turn. Like tapping your mana, it's much easier to turn 4 pieces of cardboard sideways and say blue, blue, green, green than it is to like right click, choose the color, or I guess technically I just click once, but then I have to choose the color. You can memorize the color that the card produces by default. Like Tropical Island, if you hold down like the auto tap, then it always produces green, and Underground Sea always produces blue, and I think Tundra always produces white. I can't remember like which cards produce what color, But there's a cognitive overhead to tapping like that. But if you get used to it, that can save a little bit of time. You'll notice I'm not playing very many stops. Like, I'm playing this deck pretty fast and pretty decisively. And I've definitely gotten faster and more decisive. But this is a deck that you're going to have to like think about the clock. Whereas if you're playing blue-black tempo, you don't really have to think about the clock, right? Omnitell, a lot of those decks, the clock just isn't an issue. So I don't really have any feedback on the sideboard other than that Wrath of the Skies is extremely powerful and won us probably at least 2 games today. Other feedback for Endurance feels fine. Endurance is a great card. It does feel clunky when you're playing against fair decks, and Endurance is your main interaction. But Endurance came up a lot during the Jeskai match. It's obviously very good against Reanimator. I think that, I'm excited to continue to have these permanents in the sideboard here. I do think that this was way better than the Genesis, the Planar Genesis, but I realized that our record was pretty bad. Did we like 1-4? It was bad. Yeah, we won 4. With our only victory being against, I think it was like Reanimator or something like that. No, wait. No, we didn't 1-4. We 2-3'd. Yeah, so we got half our play points back. I don't really have anything else to say about the deck. I love it. You don't have to play Beanstalk. I think this is a viable alternative to Beanstalk. I think it's comparably powerful. One thing I'll say about this deck that is better than Beanstalk is you don't have to worry about your mana nearly as much because you just have good mana. And that felt like the case through most of the match. Like, I just wasn't sweating about my mana, whereas like I'd still be on like turn 5 or turn 6 worried about like, okay, do I have domain, all this stuff. I think that this is an option if you want to still play Planeswalkers, which are still good, but you don't want to have to, play a bunch of 5 drops and or 6 drops. There were some situations where we essentially got Hellbent and Control Mirrors, and that will come up, but Uro's a great engine. And the fact that Uro can keep coming back every turn is pretty powerful. The fact that you can keep loaming cards into your hand is pretty powerful. So I just want to emphasize, I think Uro and Tamiyo are good enough engines on their own, and potentially Narset, and Teferi being like the extremely slow engine in that you draw an extra card every 4 turns. But I do think that this is viable, and I don't think that it's just wrong to play without Beanstalk. That is my takeaway from this match. I'm going to certainly play some more like this. I enjoy Beanstalk. Obviously, Bugs Beans is extremely powerful. But I think if you're doing Bant, I would argue maybe this is a better build if you want to be in Bant colors than trying to do Bant Beanstalk. And I would say that if you want to do 4-color beans, you can do that for sure. That is viable. I think a major tournament over the weekend was won by a 4-color beans deck. Let's look at it. Screenwriter NY. One with this non-Yorion Beanstalk control. And don't be allergic to Yorion, but like I'm not playing Yorion because people on the channel dislike it strongly when I play Yorion. I think they just immediately click away because they don't understand how powerful Yorion is. But Yorion is freaking cracked, especially if you're on like a creature control deck. Like, it is definitely correct to play Death and Taxes with Yorion. A lot of people refuse to do it, but it is definitely correct in my opinion. Okay, so Orcish Bowmasters, Murktide Regent, like very light threat suite for win cons essentially, and then they play a single 4th rare Lingus. I don't think this card's very good, frankly. I don't think Red's very good right now. But they won. It was like it was a 4-2, 10th place. Wait, I think they played this twice because I think they won. Yeah, they won 8-1. That's pretty good. So same list, same weekend, I think. So 2 Teferis again. I think 1 is plenty. Drawing a second one always feels bad when you already got one in play. Flusterstorm, I think, is really only good for defensive if you're a combo player, or offensive if you're a combo player. That is a sweet-looking retro foil. The only other thing I would say about this list is they're doing 2 stock up. Stock up was very powerful in the Jeskai deck. We saw them stock up repeatedly and gradually pull ahead. I still think Planeswalkers are better, but I can see the merit in stocking up. Main deck dress down, pretty good. 21 lands. I think 21 lands is a good conservative land count. And you'll note they're not playing a single wasteland either. So just like basically saying they're going to punt to the lands matchup and the 12 post matchup and stuff like that. They don't have life from the loam. They're barely any green. The only green cards are the Beanstalk. The only black cards in the 75 are They have 2 Fairy Macabre, if you want to count those in a surgical. Those are free spells. But really the only black spells are the Orcish Spellmasters. No bargains, which is interesting. Yeah, so it's basically like kind of like blue-white. Yeah, it's an interesting list. This is my style. I'm not going to play this on the channel. I don't like Terminus outside of, like, I think Terminus is fine in a Beanstalk deck, but I think Supreme Verdict is a lot more reliable. And it pitches to force when you're in a non-creature matchup. Terminus just sits there. Yeah. So, they are playing Beanstalk. I'm sorry. I acted like they weren't playing Beanstalk. No, they are playing Beanstalk, which begs the question, okay, you're playing all the bug colors and you're choosing to play Stock Up over playing Bargain. That seems like a questionable call to me, but obviously they've had great success with this. It just seems dissynergistic to be paying 3 mana at sorcery speed to look at 5 cards and get 2 of them when you could be paying 3 mana, hopefully, at instant speed and also triggering your beans. So that is my takeaway. I am not nearly as high on Stock Up as I guess everybody else is. It is really good in Omnitell. I'll give it that. I don't really have any other thoughts. Thank you again for tuning in to these leagues. If you're enjoying these, I try to publish one every 36 hours or so. That's about how often I can sit down and play a league. And I like to experiment. So you're not just going to see me play the same leagues. Like, just because I'm playing something doesn't mean I think this is optimal. Like, if I was going to a serious tournament, 100% I just play Blue-Black Tempo. I think it's by far the best deck, and I think I'm pretty good with it. I've got a lot of reps with it over like the span of like 2 years, basically, through lots of bannings and stuff. And I think it's extremely powerful right now. But if that's not your style, if you want to play something that's like grindier, can't go wrong with Uro. Uro's freaking awesome. And every time people are like, he's out of favor. I mean, aside from when Soaking Mycospawn was like literally making Uro decks impossible to play, I think Uro is always going to have a place in Legacy. He's just a really powerful engine, and it feels really good to put him in your graveyard off of a Malevolent Rumble and then bring him back. It's just the best feeling in the world. Until next time, be excellent to each other and party on.